Hey, what's up, guys? So Affliction and Destro are both getting some solid changes coming up on Tuesday, and I keep getting a ton of questions about the Affliction stuff over on the Twitch. They are a little different than what I expected, so we'll definitely go over that. But I kind of want to just quickly go through my thoughts and ideas about what I think about these changes going forward, maybe what I hope to see, and where we kind of stand, especially like compared to Demo and all that kind of stuff. Let's just jump right into it. Taking a look at the changes for Affliction, though, Seed of Corruption damage increased by 10%. This is a solid change. I definitely think our AoE was a little bit behind, especially when compared to like Demo and obviously Demon Hunter and all that kind of stuff, but they're also getting some changes. I don't know how significant the Demon Hunter ones are going to be, but these Fire Mage and Arcane and Frost Mage, I don't know if they did these. I think they were okay. We'll just skip past that. Anyways, so this definitely helps us out, especially in AoE. My favorite one, though, we'll get to after this. The Soul Rot now applies to 4 instead of 3, works in conjunction with this next one. So, Soul Rot already applied to 4 targets, right? Your main target and then 1. So 3 total, or 4 total, right? So it says like up from 3. So now it's 4 additional targets, so it's a total of 5 targets. And then they also buffed Dark Harvest, which now increases our crit and haste by 4% instead of 2.5. These two together make up for a pretty substantial like increase, especially in our AoE. And there's a few little things I could talk about to help you in, I still call it single target, but it's essentially bosses that have some adds. So like Raw or like Gnarl Root and Dark Heart Thicket. There's a bunch of bosses this season that kind of have like some adds that you can potentially hit with Soul Rot to like proc Dark Harvest, but still like help you funnel into the boss, right? I haven't played too much Destruction this season. I played a little bit on the PTR, and it was definitely in a rough spot. But all of these changes for Destruction seem really solid. Like, Rain of Fire is all really good. I've been enjoying, or I've been looking forward to playing it, I should say, considering they're running Cataclysm now. That's pretty cool, especially Cataclysm damage is pretty great. This one seems very solid, and then obviously just a flat damage emulate. I don't know if this is enough to help Destruction out. I still think the whole playstyle around Dimensional Rift, in my opinion, doesn't feel necessarily great, especially with the whole 3-minute Infernal and all that kind of stuff. But maybe I'll make a separate video talking about Destro if I get in some more keys on it, but mainly my focus here is about the Affliction changes, and I'm extremely excited for that. So let's take a look at it in the game and kind of talk about a few little things or whatever. I also moved some stats of mine around this week. I made a video recently talking about stats and gear and stuff like that, but I kind of wanted to just briefly go over some changes that I've made to my character and to maybe help you out, especially if you're deciding to maybe switch from Demo to Affliction. You can actually save some stuff in your gear, especially some of that crit verse gear. So let's jump over to that. So in my most recent video, I kind of talked about my stats and the gear that I kind of suggested and trinkets and things like that. And over the week, last week, I kind of did a bunch of sims and a few just testing on the 5 target dummies and Veldraken and stuff like that. I tested in a bunch of keys this week as well. So I ended up moving a ton of my mastery back into crit and kind of bringing my haste down a little bit. And a lot of my gear actually ended up simming very well going into crit verse. It kind of all started with me considering having some gear set up in case I need to switch to Demo, because until these current changes, I felt like the cap for Affliction in keys right now might have been about 25s. I was able to get a 25, which is going to be coming to the YouTube very soon, shortly after this, so be sure to subscribe for that. I was able to get a 25 Blackrock Hold and a 25 Everbloom last week. I still think 25s might be the limit because I did a 26 last week as well on the stream. And it was definitely, we were kind of cutting it close as far as damage was concerned. Anyways, so I started with that, kind of looking at my gear for if I needed to switch some things around for Demo. And in my testing, I found crit verse actually was not bad for us once we started getting to this like high end of mastery. So as you can see, I moved a bunch of my stats around, so I'm not over Captain Mastery anymore. I'm not getting a penalty from that. I'm getting a very small penalty from haste, but I don't think it's actually that impactful, and I'm not too worried. I might switch one of those gem enchants or one of the enchants around on my ring to like bring this down a little bit more, but I don't think it's the end of the world. I'm using Spindle and Genocide Blood for my trinkets right now. Definitely the Genocide Blood for the crit proc. You can use Sea Star here too, or you can use, if you have Sun Collar, I still haven't gotten a Sun Collar from the raid, so if you have that, that's totally fine too. I just kind of like the crit proc since our crit's still pretty low. And then Spindle has kind of taken the place, in my opinion, of giving us not only the like huge mastery proc, but it does a substantial amount of damage. Actually more damage than Darkglare, in my opinion, in the entirety of a key. The other big thing that I did was I swapped around from Verdant Conduit. I finally switched off from Verdant Conduit over to Shadow Flame. I do think that Verdant Conduit is still very solid, but I think Shadow Flame is potentially better. Also, this Tuesday we get another Spark. So I'm going to be changing from double Shadow Flame to, I'm probably going to be running a Lariat with one Shadow Flame. So definitely maybe sim your character for that. The Lariat, I still haven't decided exactly what the stats are because I'm getting a lot of crit from this necklace that I have right now. But Lariat, I think, is definitely a better option for me right now. Anyways, I kind of want to just quickly go over, I made some stat changes, and I think that you should definitely consider, especially if you're coming from Demo and you want to maybe mess around with Aff, getting rid of your crit verse gear is not necessarily the worst. You still want to go haste mastery up to a certain point, 30 to 100% mastery, 30% haste, 100% mastery kind of thing. Don't shoot for those numbers, just be around there. But, having some crit verse gear is definitely not a bad thing. Now, jumping into like the buffs and stuff like that though, currently I already was running this build. I was already running, if you've been watching any of my videos and the guide, all that kind of stuff, check out the guide, by the way. This still applies, even after the buffs, my guide, all the things I talked about in the guide, I think are still totally reasonable there. I've already been doing keys with no Darkglare and running Dark Harvest. And with the current changes they're making now, with Dark Harvest becoming even stronger and Soul Rot hitting an additional target and giving us even more stacks of Dark Harvest, I think they're kind of pushing, at least me, even further away from Darkglare. Solely because now I don't think that this point is as flexible as it was before, and I definitely don't like giving up Crescendo. I don't think I would enjoy taking Darkglare instead of Crescendo, but if you don't want to play with Crescendo, that's totally fine. Or if you really want to play with Darkglare, that's also fine, I guess. But in my opinion, playing with Crescendo is significantly more impactful and more enjoyable to play around than playing around Darkglare, especially in keys. So I briefly mentioned some things you can do to get more value out of Dark Harvest. I'm going to quickly go over a couple examples, and you can look out for these in your own keys. There's several dungeons that have bosses that have like ads around them, or potentially where you can get ads. But there's a couple situations like Rawl and Waycrest Manor where I think you need to do some trickery to get like stacks of Dark Harvest that maybe not seem as intuitive. So for instance, on Rawl, if you cast Soul Rot on Rawl and there's ads near him, it very rarely will actually hit the ads. Or at least not hit all of them. But if you do it the other way and you cast Soul Rot on the ads, it will always hit Rawl, at least in my experience. This happens a few other times in several other keys. I think I called him Gnawroot earlier, but Oakheart in Darkheart Thicket, the big tree dude, if you cast Soul Rot on him, it usually will not hit the roots or like the seedlings around him, but if you cast it on the roots, it will hit him. So you still get Soul Rot on him, and then you get your Dark Harvest stacks if you cast it on the roots. It seems to be any type of situation with like a big boss and smaller ads around it, it seems to not hit them, but it'll hit them the other way. So like if you target the ads, I just kind of want to talk about that. There's a bunch of other bosses and a bunch of these keys that do have ads that you can hit. So for instance, Eridicron, Battlefield has ads that you can hit. Razan, if your tank pulls, if you can maybe pull some Raptors, you can hit them. Soulbound Goliath, you can hit the Soul Thorns with it and you get stacks. Archdruid has ads that he spawns. The first boss in Darkheart Thicket, you can hit it off those guys. Trezoron, the bird or like the dragon in Darkheart Thicket, if you coordinate again with your tank, you can get whelps. You can hit the whelps. Ulthok, the guy in Throne, he's like the third boss on Throne. The little ads that he spawns, like the little jellies, you can actually do the same thing, kind of like what you did with like the tree dudes, where if the ads are near the boss, you can actually target them. It'll hit the big guy, and you'll get stacks for Dark Harvest. So I quickly just wanted to mention a few little things that you can do to get a little bit more value out of Dark Harvest if you're running it in your keys. I want to toss in here real quick. I do think we compete a lot more with Demo now, especially in AoE. We're already very close to them, and I think this helps us tremendously. But in specific situations, we do still have our ramp time, all that kind of stuff. Demo sometimes doesn't have to ramp as much as we do. Single target, I think they might still have the edge a little bit on us. That still remains to be seen. But as far as Affliction, Destro, and Demo go, I think we're all getting significantly closer to each other, but I guess we'll see this week. So, seed damage solid. Soul Rot damage is going to go up because we're able to hit an additional target now, so that's just flat increased damage, especially in 5-packs or like bigger mob packs. And then even more damage increase off of our Dark Harvest. I haven't been able to do too many like sims or any testing with the exact numbers to tell you like, it's 100k increase or whatever on DPS. Obviously, if you want to see all that stuff live on Tuesday, this coming up Tuesday, I think this video will probably be out on Monday. Come by the stream, all that good stuff. I'll be doing Affliction keys all week, and we'll be testing as much as we possibly can and seeing how high we can push. I just want to see where the limit of Affliction is, right? So if you're interested in watching some Affliction keys and see how far Affliction can go this season, feel free to come by the Twitch, twitch.tv/arson. Come hang out. Join the Discord if you have any more questions I didn't do. Thank you so much to my Patreons for supporting me. If you're interested in getting some stuff out of the Patreon as well, be sure to check that out. Other than that, thank you so much. I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.